All right. Happy Sunday once more. Also, shout out to China Deep Dive. As we all know that homelessness is on the rise, and it's not going so good for the 35 and under people. Shit, the 40 and under and up too, but mainly just everybody that's just finishing post education and grad school and all that. But things are going too well in China. As we all know, China is a larger country than America, so the bigger, the more problems, more money, more problems, more people, more problems. But let's check out and see what's going on because this is not getting any better. Sheesh.
It feels like we're all stuck in a giant web, working like crazy every day, running in circles, but not actually getting anywhere. Young people in China, no matter where they live, all seem to face the same reality, just getting by with no savings. This shared struggle across the country is both sad and frustrating.
Yeah, and it doesn't help, especially now, because a lot of young people, what I'm noticing, there's a lot of job hoppers in the market too. The longest people will stay in these jobs or companies in general are like not even 2 years because they're always constantly switching jobs or companies, which is encouraged for raise purposes and get paid more. But at the same time, how are you building retirement with these places if you're not staying in one place for like at least 5 years or so? So it's like, it's not like it was back in the day. So a lot of times people aren't getting the raises they're supposed to get or promotions. So if you're working in a union partnership, the wages are set and everybody gets a raise at one time. But also keep in mind that HR tells employees not to share with anybody how much you make because that causes issues for the corporation. And no matter how hard these young people work, it's just not enough. There's people that have good job, well, quote unquote good jobs, but then they still live at home because if they go rent their own place, they're spending 67% of their income alone on rent, let alone utilities and everything else. You need money for food and gas too if you're gonna have a car.
Everyone is trying their best, working long hours and doing everything they can to earn money. But in the end, the result is almost always the same. No savings, constant pressure, and life never really gets easier. One person shared how many of their friends working in top-tier cities spend half their salary on rent. The rent
Jeez.
goes to daily living costs. They live in tiny, expensive apartments, squeeze onto packed subways every day, and line up for cheap takeout.
Now, see, here's the thing. Takeout is too common in America, and let alone luxury apartments in America. See, everything is luxury now because they're trying to accommodate for charging everybody these expensive rent prices. So they make sure that it's nice and luxurious to make up for it. But really, that's not enough. It's not enough and it's not worth it. But that's not going to stop people from renting these places because people need places to live. And at the end of the day, it's better than being homeless. But you want to know what's funny about it? It's still cheaper to rent than it is to buy. And that's anywhere in the country. Because you have to remember, home insurance doesn't cover everything. And just like everything else, home insurance and tax goes up every year. So at the end of the day, it's still cheaper to rent. The rent went up $150, but it's still better than the property taxes going up $500 every year, plus utilities and everything else. So the renter has the advantage. But yet, people are still told to get into these homes, and their jobs aren't even stable enough. And that's a big issue because now you have to worry about defaulting on the loan, lawsuits, and all that. All because society told you you must own a home. You must have kids, start a family, and all this. But what's the point if you're always working?
Life moves so fast, it's exhausting. By the end of the month, even buying a nice skincare product feels like a luxury. Forget about taking a vacation. And moving back to a small town doesn't make things much better.
Nope.
Rent is cheaper, sure, but utilities and other costs still add.
Okay, so how bad is your life? I mean, your arms all tatted up. But then I see 2 phone chargers, so definitely look like a social media head. Whatever, right?
Still add up. When you do the math, your paycheck barely covers food and clothing. Trying to save money? Almost impossible. As one blogger put it bluntly,
兄弟们，
guys, it really feels like the economy's falling apart. So many businesses are shutting down or disappearing. I don't know if you're still holding on, but honestly, my own life is already pretty hard. Someone from Nanning shared a similar feeling.
南宁的10月里
How high is the unemployment rate in Nanning? Even for a job that pays only around $500 a month, tons of graduates are lining up for it.
$500 a month. So in America, you're homeless. $500 a month, automatically out on the street. Not unless you're on some kind of government assistance program to where you only pay $100 for rent, you're on the street.
It's not just students, many others are also competing, just trying to survive. What's even more discouraging now is the overall mood of society.
真的没有哪一年像今年一样。
This year feels more stressful and uncertain than any before. Just earlier, I was scrolling through short videos and saw over a dozen in a row of people sharing the same struggles, post-grads working jobs that pay only $400 a month.
So basically, that's like working at fast food or somewhere. That's McDonald's. Oh man, that's terrible. So after all this education and thousands of dollars in debt, and you're stuck with a job that doesn't pay the bills.
Or being unemployed for months after graduation. A lot of them are starting to question everything. After studying so hard for so many years, was it really all just for a job that pays $278 a month?
Yeah, and see, it's so bad now that the jobs that are available that don't require education is pretty much the same pay with the degree. So everything is so competitive now. Everything is more on the social factor now. So that's why a lot of people would just rather get paid to be gamers and streamers, because that's better income than it is working a lousy job trading blood and tears for money when they could just sit in front of a camera at home, in bed, or in their dungeon. Yeah, it's crazy. So this is pretty much where we're at. These job markets where all these postgraduates spent all this money just to still live at home.
Some postgraduates with pretty good backgrounds are out every day going to interviews and taking written tests, trying their best to land a job, but still getting nothing.
And like I shared before in past videos, that was me in 2008 during the recession. I was only 20 years old then. And I was finding work, but I couldn't find, I was going to say temporary. That's all I was finding. That was the only thing that was available at the time was temporary work. I was looking for permanent work that was actually worth going to. But other than DHL and FedEx, that was all I could find.
Even as someone just watching, I can't help but feel anxious. The job market right now is brutal. For those with a job, there's the constant fear of being laid off. For those without one, it's that jobs simply aren't there to be found.
Because too many businesses are in debt. That's why they're shutting down. This is both mom and pop and large, like retail type companies. They're struggling, like every single industry is struggling, especially mom and pop restaurants and businesses that you see downtown. That's why when you walk around a lot of downtowns in the major cities, you see a lot of closed off stalls, like in malls and everything, because either they couldn't afford to pay the rent and the utilities, or they just weren't meeting their quota in sales and everything. There's just not enough foot traffic to keep these places open, so they end up going out of business. Mind you though, right now, the best jobs to have right now is transportation and healthcare. So there's a lot of vocational programs that could get you into that. So luckily, like if you're trying to be a nurse, a lot of people don't want to do it. It's not for everybody, but as far as job security, healthcare and transportation might be the best way to go, even though you might not want to drive trucks. But hey, it pays the bills, right? We need to get out of this notion that we have to have these white collar jobs to where we don't have to lift a finger or get our fingernails dirty. That's another thing. Nobody wants to do the dirty work anymore, but somebody has to do it.
And now June is coming, which means another 10 million college graduates are about to graduate. But we don't have 10 million jobs waiting for them, and not enough new industries to
They probably have, I'll say, every job posting, there's probably at least 500 people lined up for that same job. So it's kind of like a job lottery. That's pretty much what it is. And a lot of these job listings online are fake too. So you don't know if AI is posting them or what. We don't know who's putting this shit on the computer. So we could pretty much wrap it up right here. And then you wonder why people don't want to get married or start families, because it's expensive. All it takes is a job loss, and then there's major devastation. Whoever you, especially for a man, the wife is going to nag him that he needs to be a man, step up, do this, do that. And then you just end up doing illegal activity, anything to do to survive. And then a lot of times, guys don't have a problem now having their wives prostitute themselves to keep the family going. Yeah, you'll be surprised. So eventually, you're going to have to trick off your wife. But anyway, it's Kai DeVale. I thought I'd share this. But yeah, it's pretty bad out there. Hold on, y'all. It's getting thick. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.